but they keep going. If they want to have kind of like a display type ending where you see the resistance guys kind of picking up their dead. Rain gets one more monologue in about how she's still hunting the creatures of the night, and then you kind of get this other scene that's kind of a callback to a previous scene where like this truck pulls into a concentration camp, and this officer comes out and goes, "What's that?" The truck. And he goes like, "I can see that." And so the doors kick open and Rain jumps out with the resistance guy. She draws her sword and she goes, "Guten Tag, motherfuckers!" And then the credits roll. Which actually was not correct. It was Steve shot it. Good Tag, motherfuckers. But that wouldn't have been as fun. It would have been the audience that's like a Wolfenstein 3D would not have understood that. It would have been yeah, that was the pre-thing like this fucking Nazis, motherfucker, and Guten Tag, motherfucker. God. This movie is actually kind of awesome when you think about it. It's funny, but at the same time, it's still, like, even at 79 minutes, it's still stretching for it boring. Yeah. It's the moments when you can tell that they were padding it out. They really had nothing in this movie. Like that 10-minute sequence in the bar where the resistance fighters are like, working over the SS. There's nothing in it. There's no dialogue that's funny. There's no action that's funny. It's literally, we got to pad this fucking film out. It's like the first act of the movie. That's the whole movie. You know, and that scene for Clint Howard. So I know Clint Howard, you know, the accent is funny, but there's just scene after scene after scene of him, like with a vampire going, "I have to find out what makes him so special. Science will make." I mean, it sounds funny, but it's literally like 20 minutes. It rips you into the drums. You're right. There are so many scenes where he's just kind of outlining what the Nazis want to the other Nazis. I have to find the secret to make the Fuhrer the ultimate vampire. He's like, this blood is special. This damn here that gave you, she's been walking that daylight. She is the most powerful of them. If I can harness this power and understand it, if I could get a hold of this power, the Third Reich would be unstoppable. And he just keeps going on and on about this stuff. You know, my experiments must continue. I can't believe there's so much padding in the movie this short. And it's so blatant. Like anyone can notice it. That you could just, after every scene I was going, that was pointless. There's the scene where he's talking when the woman turns Rain in at the bordello, and the commandant bites her and turns her into a vampire. There's like this scene where she wakes up and just starts talking to Clint Howard, and this leads nowhere. Where she's like, "What's happened to me? I feel powerful." She tries to seduce Clint Howard, and Clint Howard eventually falls for it. He goes in and he's trying to fuck her. And then she turns and he just does her. Stakes her in the heart and kills her. But this is after like a 5-minute scene where she's trying to figure out what she is and what becomes her. And he starts going on about evolution. He's like, "There's the next evolution of man. You see, the vampire is always stronger than her. So are you, but in a way you evolve. You become crazier, baser instincts." And he's just, oh. And she's like, "What do you mean, my baser instinct?" "Well, you see, your hunger, your thirst, your lust, final kill, yeah, all these things are making you more than what you are, and yet somehow less. Just on with this panic." And he's really, honestly, Clint, you can tell he's having fun with the role, but at the same time, he's really struggling with it. Because he just doesn't have the accent. He really doesn't. He really wants to be the guy in Raiders of the Lost Ark, that creepy Nazi motherfucker with the receding hairline and the thing on his hand. He really wants to be that guy, but he's nowhere near as creepy. He just comes across like kind of like Dr. Insano, where it's just like, science will explain everything. If I can figure out typically what makes a vampire work, I can. Like, he just going on about, there's one person who's like, the actor plays the memory, she's like, science does not explain everything. He's like, you shut up. Science explains everything. I don't know how yet, but it does. Science. Yeah, really. And so I guess that's where I'm coming from when I'm really frustrated. I keep bringing up parts where porn could have been added, where I'm like, there's so many parts that is drawn on with exposition that's unnecessary, that could have just had fucking,
strange for a movie with no plot and so much exposition. Yeah, this movie it was a mixed bag. I can't say I didn't enjoy it. I laughed my ass off at times. There are fine lines, it's funny acting, there's the titillation that comes from a flick like this. It's purely B-movie camp, but at the same time, there are long stretches where you're just sitting going. Can we move on to something, acting, titties, something to keep you interested?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why I keep pointing out where titties could have been added, because titties would have helped my interest. More violence.
More violence.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities they could have had to have a fight scene or just really just blatant tits. Because there are something. Because that's what's funny is that this movie already feels like there's something even blatant tits. And yet, there's so many scenes where it could have helped a lot.
You can't do talking scenes full. You can't.
Yeah.
So stay away from them as far away as you can.
I guess that's what it comes down to is really he does, I can't even say he does fucking well, but he does it better than he does straight up talking. Like, if you just get porn actresses in a room and just help them to do what they do, they can kind of carry the scene. I guess that if I'm never going to explain myself as well as I get better, I'm embarrassing myself. Those were really the best scenes. Because really, Clint Howard didn't carry this flick.
Well, even to take this to a non-Blood Rain film, of the movies that he's done that were more serious but not the clown shoes one he did in the beginning, Rampage was probably the best of those, and those were almost no talking, no action. And that's both of them, those were the best. That's probably the best he's done. I still didn't like that movie, but I can see it was the best he ever got in his craft.
So I guess that Blood Rain the Third Reich in a nutshell. We probably talked more than the movie lasted. Fucking Nazis. God. Yeah. Really, if you want to see watch porn. Honestly, is this the best? It is the best of the three.
It's not going to have some good stuff in it.
It's not the funniest of the three.
Yeah.
But it is probably objectively the best of the three.
It's funny, in the first one, it's funny watching Michael Madsen. He is embarrassed out of his mind, drunk, seeing Meatloaf, seeing Ben Kingsley embarrass himself, and just stoop as Michelle Rodriguez embarrassing herself. That's a common theme. But yeah, this one, it's closest to what Blood Rain should have been.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whole really got switch. With this movie, he got a lot of hits in it. He got a lot of lesbian fucking
action scenes.
He got,
looks better choreographed.
Better than the first one, yeah. That's not saying.
Where they're swinging around cardboard swords.
Yeah. Even so, I think you really just wanted to go straight exploitation with this, you really should have gone to full war. Honestly, if he had made this like SS girl, like seriously, just fucking crazy, like really blatant dominatrix SS chicks, like almost like a Bordello, like an SS girl, where like you just got really blatant Nazi imagery. They're classic. Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of this year. If you just went crazy with it.
If you just went like crazy Nazi sexploitation with it. And I can see him doing that. This would have been fucking awesome. So we have pretty much debased ourselves and made ourselves sound like complete chauvinists. But what do you expect when you're watching Blood Rain the Third Reich? If you want to see vampire chicks sucking each other because they're dancing, you actually don't have to see scissor things, whatever. If you want to see that, check out Blood Rain the Third Reich. In the meantime, we're out.